I'm not sure I understand, because what you want to do is prevent people from purchasing assault weapons in the state, and you want to make sure that you know where those very, very deadly weapons are, who owns them, when and if a crime is committed with one of them.
Potentially, we could have, as has been leaked to us, the governor asked for legislation to close the existing owner loophole after a mass casualty event next year, where the existing people who have dutifully followed the registration requirement of the law are given 90 days to surrender those registered firearms and accessories to the police, or they face an additional felony charge. And that's the story we're getting.
It's a little bit of back and forth there with Governor J.B. Pritzker last month, talking about why have a registration for the gun ban, and John Bach from Gun Save Life sharing some of what he's hearing from sources, what could be some of the next steps here. Welcome in, Bishop on Air. Of course, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow along with us as we track what happens with the gun ban in the state of Illinois. Of course, we've tracked all of the lawsuits that have happened, and we'll delve into some of that here as well. But a lot of moving pieces when it comes to the gun ban and the registry as well. With that registry, all accounts are that the compliance rate is at least between 4 and 8% when you extrapolate a bunch of different numbers. But as has been reported elsewhere, in this idea of what happens next and the, quote, confiscation scheme that some people are speculating upon. As you heard there, John Bach, he spelled out some of what he anticipates happening in the new year, this year, when I chatted with him just before the new year. So at the tail end of 2023, part of the conversation I had with John Bach went something like this. And let's go ahead and hear that.
What could happen? I think there's a lot of things that could happen, certainly. I don't think the Illinois State Police have the staff to go out and conduct enforcement raids. They may try to do some spot compliance checks for more prolific purchasers of firearms if their firearms are not registered with the Illinois State Police per this law. And at that point, I think it would be voluntary, although they might try to find a sympathetic judge in a sympathetic jurisdiction to maybe issue a warrant that there isn't really probable cause to suspect a criminal violation. They might try to go into some fishing expeditions like that. Potentially, we could have, as has been leaked to us, the governor asked for legislation to close the existing owner loophole after a mass casualty event next year, where the existing people who have dutifully followed the registration requirement of the law are given 90 days to surrender those registered firearms and accessories to the police, or they face an additional felony charge. And that's the story we're getting, is that the governor has welcomed this behind the scenes, and they've already planned it. And if there's a mass casualty incident, especially if it happens in Illinois, the governor is going to welcome this option for new legislation to close the existing owner loophole. And then again, existing owners who have registered would have 90 days to surrender their firearms to police, or face a knock on the door from the state police asking, hey, you registered these guns. Why didn't you surrender them within the window? We're here today to pick them up, or we're going to pick them up and take you to jail. And I think that's potentially on the horizon. Other things, we've got rumors that some people are trying to come up with workarounds to facilitate the Illinois State Police doing some fishing expeditions, again, trying to identify some of these people who have purchased firearms who may not be in, as they see it, compliance with the law. That's not how our country works, though. It's innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until you've proved your innocence by proving that you no longer have these guns in the state of Illinois. But a lot of things could happen. Obviously, the governor and people like Representative Bob Morgan are not going to sit by idly when there's 99.4% non-compliance with their precious little law. That, I think, is a very sore spot with them. I think they're losing sleep over that. I think they're very angry about that privately. We'll have to wait and see after the first of the year what their next steps are, but I have no doubt they're gaming this 2 or 3 steps into the future. And of course, we're trying to figure out what those plans are. and trying to advise gun owners accordingly.
And again, that was a conversation I had with John Bach just before the new year. And if you missed that, you can find it on my YouTube channel just from a few weeks ago. And the speculation's grown on the idea of some kind of confiscation scheme. And the questions, of course, about what happens after a mass casualty event where a firearm was used to kill and injure scores of people. And even Tom DeVore on his Facebook page raising the speculation as well. ABC News Channel 20 here in Springfield did reach out to the governor's office for comment on this, and the governor's office downplayed DeVore as just a private citizen, not an elected official, and should be treated as such, but also flatly denying that speculation of this kind of scheme. But again, when I asked the governor in December about why have a registry, here's his response.
I have a registry of these firearms.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand, because what you want to do is prevent people from purchasing assault weapons in the state, and you want to make sure that you know where those very, very deadly weapons are, who owns them, when and if a crime is committed with one of them.
And that's interesting. He says, he wants to know who has these firearms, if and when a crime is committed with them. So we'll just leave that there and be tracking that. But it's not the only thing that we're tracking as well. You've got this idea of a new law that's being proposed from State Senator Julie Morrison that was filed this week dealing with the issue of FOID card revocations or suspensions, and whether or not you've got the possibility of having a driver's license. And this is a measure that is brought forward, Senate Bill 2720. What it says is, we'll pull this up so you can see this yourself on the Illinois General Assembly website, where you've got the Senate Bill 2720 referred to assignments in the Senate committee. And it says that it amends the Illinois Vehicle Code, provides that the Secretary of State may not issue to or allow the renewal or retention of a driver's license or permit by anyone who possesses a revoked firearm owner's identification card unless the applicant's firearm owner's identification card is successfully reinstated or the applicant surrenders possession of the FOID owner's identification card to Illinois State Police. It amends the firearm owner's identification card, provides that the Illinois State Police shall provide the Secretary of State with a notice of any individual who fails to surrender a revoked FOID card. So that's the item in general as to the synopsis filed at the Illinois General Assembly. The Illinois State Rifle Association putting out this message from their president and the Illinois State Rifle Association's YouTube channel. If you follow that, you saw this recently.
It believes it's really pretty simple. That if you just comply with Section 9.5 and turn in your revoked FOID card, then there are no issues at all. However, under the red flag law, there can be an ex parte case filed against you. In other words, someone can say you are a problem and go before a judge without you even being present or even knowing about it, and you can then lose your FOID card and not get a hearing for at least 2 weeks, if you can believe that. So what's the bottom line here? A person under this bill can be falsely accused and lose their right to drive without having even a single hearing. And here's a very important question. Do you actually trust the Illinois State Police to update their database in a very timely manner? What if a person complied with Section 9.5, but the Illinois State Police database is not updated? There is no recourse in this bill as it is presently written to correct that. But here's the deal. The timing of this is not at all accidental. After Governor Pritzker was left extremely embarrassed when less than 2% of the 2.4 million FOID card holders registered their firearms by the January 1st deadline, he's now looking for new ways to target and harass gun owners. And this time, they want to go after your driver's license.
So again, it's the Illinois State Rifle Association highlighting this bill that was filed this week, Senate Bill 2720 from State Senator Julie Morrison. She was also an advocate of the Protect Illinois Communities Act, which bans the sale and possession of certain semi-automatic firearms. So clearly that's something that people are going to be watching as lawmakers come back January 16th for the start of for the start of spring session at the State House. But there were other elements that are still alive in the State House, including House Bill 676, which did pass the House and could be brought up in the Senate. And one element of that deals with orders of protection cases, saying that subjects of such actions must turn firearms over only to law enforcement rather than to somebody else who has a FOID card. You had the Illinois Sheriff's Association opposed to that, and the measure passed, but it removed other elements in that. It was kind of an omnibus bill trying to regulate firearms owners. One measure, for instance, would have increased the distance a residential area is from a firearm being exchanged. Another one that was removed creates the Firearm Insurance Act and some other elements in there as well. So House Bill 676 could also still come up at the Illinois General Assembly in the second year of the 2-year term. So we'll be watching those things closely here with Bishop on Air. Of course, there's plenty more other things that we've got to tackle when it comes to the ongoing litigation against the gun ban. So we'll be taking a look at some of that as well here with Bishop on Air. All right, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow along with Bishop on Air each and every weekday morning. You can also follow me on X, on Facebook, and really just search out Bishop on Air and go to the website bishoponair.com. All right, stay tuned. Much more coming up.